All right, fanfiction fans, are you ready to take your writing to the next level?
I know I am.
Today we're diving deep into some of those common fanfiction faux pas.
The ones that trip up even really experienced writers.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it as like a cheat sheet to help you level up your storytelling.
I love that idea.
Okay, so we're going to tackle 5 key areas today.
To really help you polish your writing.
So we'll talk about character consistency, dialogue tropes, editing, and constructive criticism.
Sounds great. Let's get started.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about characters.
Yeah. Why is it so important for our characters to be consistent?
You know, it's so true. I've read some fan fiction where characters do things that are totally out of character,
Right.
and it like throws me out of the story completely.
It can totally ruin the immersion, right? It's like
Yeah.
watching your favorite superhero suddenly become a florist.
Yeah,
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it really breaks that sense of believability.
yeah.
And that's what draws readers in, is that you believe the story and the characters.
So it's like the author is breaking a pact with the reader
Yeah, you're exactly right.
because you're saying, okay, I'm going to suspend my disbelief and go along with this story.
Right.
But if the characters aren't consistent, it just,
It breaks the pact.
yeah, it breaks it.
And then you don't trust the story anymore.
Right.
Our source material compares character development to a roadmap.
Okay.
You need like a clear path, a logical progression for your character to grow.
So like imagine I'm mapping out this journey for my character.
Exactly.
I have to think about their values, their fears, their motivations.
Yes, and how those things shape the choices they make.
Okay, I'm already seeing how this roadmap thing is super helpful
It is, isn't it?
because it's like a blueprint.
Yeah, like a guide to keep your character on track.
Right, so their actions always feel authentic
Precisely.
to who they really are.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of times it's tempting to just jump into the action.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But if you take the time to think about these core elements of your character first,
It makes a huge difference.
it really does.
It can really elevate your story.
Absolutely. Okay, so try this to really flesh out your character's values and motivations.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine a pivotal moment from their past that shaped who they are.
Mm.
Maybe the childhood trauma, a moment of triumph or a relationship.
Right, some kind of defining moment.
Yeah, and think about how that experience influenced them.
Yeah, how did it shape their worldview?
Whoa, that's powerful.
It is, right?
It's like giving your character a secret backstory
Yes, and that depth will come through in their actions.
and make them feel more real.
More believable, more human.
This makes me want to go back and revisit some of my characters.
You too.
All right, let's move on to something that can really bring characters to life.
Dialogue.
Yes.
Such an important part of storytelling.
I love how our source material points out that this is where characters truly come alive.
Yeah, through their words, their voice, their tone.
But I think we can all agree that writing dialogue that feels natural
Oh, yeah.
can be a real challenge.
It can be tricky.
I have cringed at some of my early attempts at dialogue.
Oh, I think we all have.
It's so easy to fall into that trap of making characters sound stiff and formal.
Like they're reading from a script.
Exactly. Or on the flip side,
Huh.
making them too casual, like with slang that just feels forced.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance, right?
Right. Find that sweet spot where the dialogue feels authentic.
Yes, to the characters and their world.
So what's the secret to writing dialogue that just like sings?
Well, our source material says, imagine you are the character.
Well, I like that.
Step into their shoes, think about their personality and background,
Okay.
and then let the words flow naturally.
So it's almost like method acting for writers.
Kind of, yeah.
Instead of just writing the dialogue, they're channeling your characters,
Exactly.
letting them speak through you.
Like you're eavesdropping on a conversation in your head.
I love that. Okay, so another tip.
Yes.
Pay attention to the rhythm of real-life conversations.
Oh, that's so important.
People interrupt each other.
They use slang.
They trail off. They repeat themselves.
Exactly. Embrace those imperfections.
Because it makes the dialogue feel so much more natural.
more realistic,
Yeah.
more engaging.
Okay, this is totally changing the way I think about dialogue.
I know, right?
Instead of trying to make it perfect and polished,
Yeah.
I should be embracing the messiness.
A natural flow of conversation.
It feels so liberating.
It does, doesn't it?
And remember, dialogue isn't just about conveying information.
Right? It's not just about exposition.
It's about revealing character
Building relationships.
and moving the plot forward.
exactly. Every line should serve a purpose.
Okay. I am excited to go back and work on my dialogue now.
Me too.
But before we get too carried away, let's talk about something that can be a blessing and a curse.
Ooh, what's that? Tropes.
Ah, yes, those familiar story elements.
That we all know and love.
Or love to hate.
Right?
So tropes, you know, Sometimes they get a bad rap.
Really? I just thought the goal was to avoid tropes as much as possible.
I know, right? But they become popular for a reason.
Okay. They tap into like those universal desires that we all have.
Okay, yeah.
The conflicts that resonate with readers across genres.
Yeah, like the chosen one trope.
Exactly.
Everywhere, because we all want to feel special.
Yes, we all want to believe we have a purpose.
Right. And what about the enemies to lovers trope?
Oh, yeah, that one's a classic.
Opposites attract. There's tension. It's so satisfying.
There's something about that slow burn, right?
Oh, for sure.
Watching those characters go from hating each other to falling in love.
So instead of seeing tropes as something to avoid,
Yeah,
we can use them as a starting point.
exactly, as a foundation to build on.
Okay, so the key is to subvert them.
Yes, give them a fresh twist.
Surprise your readers.
Make them think.
Okay, so tell me more about this trope subverting magic.
All right, so let's take the damsel in distress trope.
Okay.
Usually she's helpless waiting for a hero,
Right.
but what if she outsmarts her captors
Oh, I like that.
and escapes all on her own?
Now that's a damsel I can root for.
Yeah.
She's taking charge, not just waiting around.
Exactly, and it challenges those traditional gender roles.
You're still playing with familiar elements,
Yes, captivity rescue.
but you're flipping the script.
Making it fresh and unexpected.
I'm already thinking about all the tropes I could subvert.
You know, right? The possibilities are endless.
It's like taking a classic recipe and adding your own secret ingredient
Exactly.
to create something unique.
And when you do that thoughtfully,
Yeah.
you're making your readers think more deeply
About the themes and conventions.
of the genre.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's not just about entertainment,
It's about making people think.
challenging their assumptions.
Now that's powerful storytelling.
It really is.
Speaking of powerful storytelling,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to character consistency for a second.
Okay, sure.
I know we touched on this earlier,
Right? The roadmap analogy.
but I think it's worth diving a little deeper
Okay, I'm all for it.
because sometimes writers make the mistake of taking their characters on detours that don't really make sense for their personalities.
Mhm.
Like if a character who's always been shy and introverted
Yeah.
suddenly becomes the life of the party.
It feels forced.
Yeah, totally off.
Like the writer is trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Right.
And readers can sense that.
They can totally tell.
It takes them out of the story.
So how can we make sure our characters stay true to themselves?
Good question.
Besides the roadmap thing, of course.
Well, here's a helpful exercise.
Okay.
Imagine your character is faced with a tough decision.
Okay.
What factors would they consider?
Great.
What values would guide their choice?
Hmm.
Would they act impulsively or carefully weigh their options?
Okay.
Really put yourself in their shoes
Yeah,
and make choices that feel authentic.
that's a great tip.
You can even write a scene from their point of view,
Oh, wow.
using their voice and inner thoughts.
Like giving them a chance to speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And don't be afraid to let them make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
No one's perfect.
True.
Flaws make characters more relatable,
More human,
and mistakes can lead to growth.
which makes for good storytelling.
Exactly. It's those challenges that make their journey meaningful.
Okay, so we talked about character consistency.
Yes.
But what about character voices?
Right. How do we make them sound distinct?
And believable.
Dialogue.
Yes.
That's where the magic happens.
So I should think about how my character would speak,
Exactly.
the words they use, their tone.
Would they use slang?
Would they be formal or informal?
Yes. Would they be direct or beat around the bush?
Their dialogue should reflect who they are.
Their personality, their background.
And remember, dialogue isn't just about conveying information.
Right. It's not just exposition.
It's about revealing character.
Building relationships.
Yeah, and creating tension.
Exactly. Every line should serve a purpose.
It's like its own little story within the larger story.
That's a great way to put it.
It can even help you establish a sense of place or time.
Oh, for sure. Like if your story is set in a futuristic society
The dialogue might include slang.
or technical jargon that reflects that world,
Right.
dialogue can be so much more than just words.
It's a powerful tool.
For world-building character development,
Even plot advancement.
it really is.
This makes me want to go back and listen to real-life conversations
Me too.
with a whole new level of attention.
You can pick up so many nuances
And quirks.
to incorporate into your writing.
Exactly. And remember,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to experiment with different voices and styles.
Each character should have their own unique way of speaking.
Okay, I'm ready for the next challenge.
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about constructive criticism.
Ah.
Okay, So we're back for the final part of our deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We talk about characters and dialogue,
And those tricky tropes.
but there's one more piece of the puzzle.
That can really take your writing to the next level.
Constructive criticism.
Ah, yes. The dreaded feedback.
I think every writer, no matter how experienced,
Gets a little nervous when it comes to getting feedback.
it's so vulnerable.
It's like putting your heart out there for the world to see.
So how can we tell the difference between constructive criticism that's actually helpful
Right.
and feedback that's just mean or unhelpful?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think constructive criticism should always focus on the work,
Okay.
not the writer.
So it's not about attacking the person.
No, it's about offering specific suggestions
Okay.
for improvement.
So instead of getting defensive,
Right.
I should try to see it as an opportunity to learn
Exactly.
and make my writing stronger.
It's a chance to grow.
And remember, you don't have to agree with every single piece of feedback you get.
That's right.
It's your story.
You get to decide what changes you want to make.
But even if you don't incorporate a specific suggestion,
Yeah.
just considering it from a different perspective can be valuable,
It can open your mind to new possibilities.
right? It's like expanding your toolbox.
Exactly.
You might not use every tool for every project.
But it's good to have options.
Now, our source material recommends seeking out critique groups
Oh, yes. Those can be so helpful.
or online forums
Where you can get feedback from other fan fiction writers.
because they'll understand the specific challenges
Of writing fan fiction.
and they've been there.
They get it.
Exactly.
And a lot of these communities have guidelines
Okay.
for giving and receiving feedback respectfully.
So it's a safe space.
Yes, a supportive environment.
Plus, it's a great way to connect with other writers.
Oh, yeah. You can share your work, get inspiration.
Oh, that reminds me, what exactly is a beta reader?
Oh, a beta reader is like a test audience for your story.
Okay.
They read your work before you share it publicly.
Okay.
And they give you feedback on things like
Right.
plot characterization, pacing clarity.
So they're like a fresh pair of eyes
Exactly.
that can catch things you might have missed.
They can help you polish your story.
So where can I find these mythical beta readers?
Well, a lot of online fan fiction communities have forums or groups specifically for connecting writers and beta readers.
Okay.
You can also ask a trusted friend or fellow writer.
Mm.
The key is to find someone who's familiar with your fandom
Okay.
and whose opinions you value.
This is so helpful.
I'm glad.
I've always been hesitant to share my work before it's perfect,
I understand.
but knowing that beta readers are there to support me
Yeah.
makes it less intimidating.
And remember, getting constructive criticism
Yeah.
is a sign that you're taking your writing seriously.
Okay.
It's a step towards becoming a better storyteller.
This deep dive has been amazing.
I've learned so much.
We explored so many aspects of fan fiction writing,
Character development, dialogue, tropes, editing.
even constructive criticism.
It's been a journey.
And we've learned that while there are pitfalls,
Right.
there are also tools and strategies
That can help us elevate our craft.
and create captivating stories.
Stories that resonate with readers.
So to all our listeners out there,
Yeah.
keep writing, keep experimenting.
And never be afraid to embrace those challenges.
That help you grow as a writer.
Because that's how you get better.
Well said.
Thank you.
That's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
So until next time, happy writing, everyone.
And may your characters always stay in character.